country. We love our country. And to love our country is to know that one of the highest forms of patriotism, I believe, is to then fight for the ideals of our country. And that's what we are all here together to say. We love our country and we are prepared to fight for our country and to fight to realize the promise of America. The promise of America. That's what this is about. So, Election Day is in 10 days. And early voting has already started. And you can vote early starting today through Sunday, November 3rd. So we need you to vote early, Michigan. And now then is the time to make your plan to vote. And you can go to iwillvote.com to get all the information you need. And if you have received your ballot in the mail, please do not wait. Fill it out and return it today. Because, folks, the election is here. It is here, and the choice is truly in your hands. And your vote is your voice, and your voice is your power. Michigan, today I ask you, are you ready to make your voices heard? Do we believe in freedom? Do we believe in opportunity? Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight for it? And when we fight, we win! God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
I'm Jonathan Capehart. This is the Saturday Show. You've been listening to Vice President Kamala Harris at a Get Out the Vote event in Kalamazoo, Michigan, campaigning for the first time alongside former First Lady Michelle Obama. You see her there again, coming back out on stage there after the Vice President finished. The crowd was so large, as you can see, they needed an overflow room. And Mrs. Obama did not disappoint, bringing the fire like she did at the Democratic convention.
I am so hopeful about the energy and poise and joy that Kamala has injected into this race. And if you know Kamala like I do, that's no surprise. She's filling arenas in a way we haven't seen for years. She's building a remarkable campaign in record time, dominating her opponent so thoroughly in the debate, he was too scared to face her again. She's putting herself out there fearlessly, facing down even her harshest critics. She's seeking out Republicans to find common ground. And unlike her opponent, she's not ducking interviews or cowering in safe spaces only with fawning audiences. No, she's showing us what a sane, stable leader looks like. And Lord knows, we need a grown-up in the White House. With the maturity and fresh ideas to keep moving our country forward. Kamala is the only candidate in this race who has outlined a clear set of policies.
We've got just 10 days left in one of the most consequential elections of our lifetime. As you all know, voting has already started. And everybody here knows this is going to be a tight race till the very end. So we have a lot of work to do. But we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work is joyful work. And make no mistake, we will win.
Joining me now, Ian Sams, senior advisor for the Harris-Walz campaign. Ian, thank you, as always, for coming to the Saturday show. For starters, can you talk about the significance of having Michelle Obama campaign on behalf of the vice president with just 10 days to go until Election Day?
Yeah, you know, she's an inspiring figure for millions of people across this country. I think today, for example, she spent a significant portion of her speech very personally talking about what's at stake for reproductive freedom in this country. You saw this last night from Vice President Harris and Beyonce and Kelly Rowland in Houston as well, where we had 30,000 people at a rally talking about the importance of protecting reproductive freedom across this country. I think that, you know, women and men are standing up across this country saying that what we're seeing thanks to Trump's abortion bans is unacceptable, and that if he retakes his power, the kind of consequences that we're seeing in a place like Texas, where women are dying or unable to get the care that they need because of the extreme abortion bans there. You know, if you live in Michigan, like Michelle Obama and like the vice president said, if you live in Pennsylvania, if you live in North Carolina, you're not safe either. You know, Trump wants to take his abortion bans nationwide. And so these are really powerful messages coming from really inspiring women who I think are, speaking for a vast majority of the country right now who want to protect reproductive freedom in this election.
Ian, is it safe to say that given Michelle Obama's speech today, given yesterday's rally in Houston, which was all about reproductive freedom in Texas, take that and couple it with the other campaign theme, which is threats to democracy, and agreeing with General Kelly with his comments about Donald Trump being a fascist, are those the two legs of the stool of the closing argument that the vice president is making: reproductive freedom and threats to democracy? And if so, what's the third leg of that stool?
Well, I think that when you think about what the message is in this election, and the thing that's the through line is Vice President Harris is trying to protect people's freedom. It's the most fundamental thing we have as Americans, enshrined in our Constitution, given to us by birth, by being in this country, that we are a free people. And whether it's reproductive freedom in the way that Donald Trump's Supreme Court justices overturned Roe and have unleashed abortion bans across this country, where 1 in 3 women live in a place with an extreme Trump abortion ban, whether it's your economic freedoms, he wants to retake power so that he can use that power in an unchecked and unchained way. He's got a blueprint, Project 2025. And what does it do? It ends overtime pay. It's going to gut Social Security and Medicare. People who are hardworking people, or people who have worked their whole lives, are going to have their economic freedom taken away by the agenda that these guys are pushing. Or whether it's the very fundamental freedoms that we cherish as Americans to not live in a country ruled by a dictator. And Donald Trump is saying, the fellow Americans who live with me every day in this country, they're the enemy from within. J.D. Vance just said to Meet the Press, which I know will air tomorrow morning on NBC, defended his comments about the enemy within and said that that's the biggest threat we have, not foreign adversaries, but our fellow Americans. That's how these guys are talking. And you don't have to take it from us. You don't have to take it from Vice President Harris. Take it from the very people who know Donald Trump best, like you just mentioned, his former chief of staff, his longest serving chief of staff, a Marine general who said that he's a danger to the country, his own former chairman of the Joint Chiefs, his own former Secretary of Defense, numerous of his national security advisors. These are the people who sat with him in the Situation Room and in the Oval Office, and they are issuing a warning to the country that what he is seeking is unchecked power, and it should not be allowed to happen.
Ian, on this point, House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell issued a rare joint statement asking the vice president to tone down her rhetoric. And we have it up on the screen. The two top Republicans accused Harris of fanning, quote, the flames beneath a boiling cauldron of political animus, and said her words in recent days, quote, seem to dare it to boil over. What's the campaign's reaction to that pot and kettle statement?
Yeah, well, maybe they should pick up the phone and call Donald Trump. I mean, when you listen to Donald Trump talk, you hear him. He's called Vice President Harris every name in the book. He's called her a fascist for months. These are just pejoratives that he throws around. And what the vice president's talking about is, hey, American people, listen to the people who know Donald Trump best. The people who sat beside him when he was the commander-in-chief are saying that he is fascist to his core. The people who sat with him in the sit room during foreign crises, Mark Milley, the top general for Donald Trump, said that this is the most dangerous person to our country. Not a terrorist, not Vladimir Putin, not Kim Jong-un. That's what he's saying. That should be alarming. And so I think that when you hear this sort of, whataboutism or shamelessness from certain corners of the Republican Party these days, they must not be listening. They must not be seeing the two candidates who are out there right now. We have one candidate who's trashing America, who's issuing dark and divisive language, and we have another who's actually talking about bringing us together as a country, and that's why Republicans are endorsing her.
Ian, we're out of time, but I got to get you on one more thing. The vice president is going to be speaking from the ellipse on Tuesday. Real quickly, what is she going to say to the American people in this speech that's being billed as her closing argument speech?
Well, yeah, she sees this like a prosecutor. You know, we've had the trial, we've seen all the evidence, and now it's time for a closing argument. And I think what you'll hear from her is the choice between two very different people who are going to be president just across the street at the White House. She's going to say, you know, President Trump showed us who he was. This was the site of the most infamous site of his desire for unchecked power. That is what Donald Trump wants. I want to get power so I can help you. I'm not going to be sitting inside focused on my enemies list, stewing over my own problems. I'm going to be focused on my to-do list of what can help you as an American. So that's going to be the choice that she's going to put on the table between the dark and divisive and chaotic past of Donald Trump. And she's going to say, we can turn the page on that. And I offer a new generation of leadership that can take our country forward and actually focus on bringing us back together again and pursuing the kind of country that we all want to have on issues that are important to you, not just focused on myself. So I think that's what people are going to hear from her on Tuesday.
Ian Sams, Senior Advisor to the Harris-Walz campaign. As always, thank you very much for coming to the Saturday show.
Thank you.
And coming up, Republicans are trying mightily to purge state voter rolls. Former Attorney General Eric Holder joins me after the break to discuss how Republicans are failing. Plus, don't fall for it. We'll dive into the concerns over deepfakes and misinformation as voting is already underway in more than half the country. Another jam-packed hour of the Saturday show right here on MSNBC.
Introducing Allison's Black Psoriasis. She thinks her flaky gray patches are all people see.
Otezla is the #1 prescribed pill to treat plaque psoriasis. Over here. Otezla can help you get clearer skin and reduce itching and flaking with no routine blood tests required. Doctors have been prescribing Otezla for over a decade. Otezla is also approved to treat psoriatic arthritis. Don't use Otezla if you're allergic to it. Serious allergic reactions can happen. Otezla may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Some people taking Otezla have depression,